desert.
Simply MJAD, we're here, we're live. I'm MJAD to Dodemon. Welcome our second season to Simply MJAD. I'm here at the lovely Delaware Beach at the funeral home, Straghn and Sons, right? And Mr. Straghn. We're here with Mr. Alfred Straghn that's going to have a conversation with us regarding something that is so dear to our heart, although at times we don't give presence to that, which is death. At times, you know, when it comes, it makes us extremely sad. However, that's something that has to be dealt with. And there are the people who are in service at times are forgotten, and no one knows how important they are, you know, on our journey to assist us with this. So we're here to have conversation. How are you, Mr. Straghn?
Oh, just fine. And yourself?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. How's the family?
The family's just fine.
Yeah, as you know, we talked before. I wrote a little book, and I mentioned you, and I know how important it is. You know, this is part of our world, and a lot of people don't give presence to that until it happens, you know?
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, you know, your funeral home is very much a family business. Is this something you encourage of your children? How does that decided?
It was decided really from my youngest son.
From your youngest son. Okay.
We focus around him.
All right.
Because my wife said one day, she said, you know, Keith will never work for no one else.
Wow.
Well, I was managing a funeral home at the time.
Okay. That is small.
Funeral home, I mean, the Coleman Funeral Home.
Okay.
And I managed there from 1951 to 1979.
Here in Delaware Beach?
Here in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
Then I moved over here, but he was a fella that he always wanted to be the one in charge.
Okay.
So she said, well, what you need to do, we need to do our own business.
Wow, just like that.
And believe it or not, we started in 1980 in this particular spot.
And we're still here.
And we're still here.
Wow, and growing.
We renovated this place and added a chapel.
Well, there's a chapel inside here as well.
Chapel on the this is the small chapel, big chapel is on the other side.
Okay. And I know you were born in Delaware Beach and you've been here all your life. How would you describe the changes here? Because I've only been in Palm Beach County, but I've watched Delaware Beach grow, you know, as an organizer, neighborhood organizer. So much has happened.
The changes have been done rapidly and fast.
Wow.
And really, we on the west side, it's called the black section of town then.
Yes. But now I see everybody's melting. It's
everybody.
Yes.
And really it's a long story.
Yeah.
About the mixture and whatnot.
What did you experience being here early, you know, with the black section? And what did you experience?
Well, we were a family. You were a
family.
The whole city, we knew everyone. And everyone, you know, we were, if you were hungry, somebody fed you.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah.
Definitely. Children played together.
Yeah. If I needed a ride, you had a car, you assist me.
Oh, yes, right. Right. There really wasn't many cars right
Yeah.
Right. One time I can remember.
Wow.
But whatever a person had, they shared.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot more to you. The first time I ran into you, I was doing neighborhood organizing. I remember that, you know, didn't know too much because I had just moved from another county when I first started. Now Delaware Beach has won Best City 3 times, 1993, when I got on board, and I think a couple years ago they won again. So, yeah, but when I came, I ran into you, and I know you don't remember this because you run into so many people, and I was scattered just looking for things and, you know, looking for a few places where to go, and I just stopped and you just stop and you tell me, you can go over there. I was looking for that flower shop, you know, and you just say, oh, just take it over there, and I'm like, oh my God, this man is busy, he's handling the debt, but he has time to assist me, and I've never ever forgotten you. Yeah, because, you know, life happens, and I think about giving presents, and that's what assists me to bring presents to you. Because, you know, in your busy day, you're taking care of people, loved ones. And one thing about life is like what we hear, when someone is alive, they have a name is, you know, Mr. Straghn, Alfred, MJ, whatever. But when it's gone, it's the body. Put the body here, bury the body. But this is what you deal with, the body.
Yes.
So how do you get prepared to receive this body and then with integrity, deliver a very good, home, family, going away festive?
It really depends on who it is. It have a lot to do. You're conscious of everyone.
Yes.
But when you are dealing with people that are close to your heart,
Yes.
That could be family members and
people you've seen grown sometimes.
And good friends,
yeah.
people you were raised up together with.
Because I'm sure you see a lot of young ones that you didn't plan to go, after them, and they've gone before you. I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Oh, definitely. As I was saying about my youngest son, he passed away at 35.
Oh, wow.
And the whole funeral was circled around him. He's a good kid. But anyway, dealing with this is very, very, I really don't know how to put it, but it's very delicate toward people.
Yeah.
You have to say the right thing, you have to look the right way.
Yeah.
And
to bury the dead, you got to look the right way.
To bury the dead, you have to be sympathetic with some, and you have to be joyful with some.
Exactly, yeah.
And it all depends upon their attitude. If they're weeping, you weep with them.
Wow. So you empathize, really. It's past sympathy. Okay. It's empathy. And you're losing one of your very own,
Oh, yes.
And I know that I just had a conversation with a woman that his life was taken away as well. And I told her I was heading to have a conversation with you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and, she was excited about that, but, she's still in pain.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be right back to continue to have a conversation with Mr. Straghn.
My name is Alfred Straghn. I was born February 16, 1928 in Delray Beach. A midwife delivered me. Health service was segregated then and very poor. There were no African American doctors, and if you went to a white doctor, you had to go in through the back door. It was horrible.
With Mr. Straghn, have a conversation regarding something that we barely talk about, which is part of our world. One thing is guaranteed is that it's death. That I know for sure. So we're going to continue our conversation. And one of the things that we're going to ask you, inquire about, it's who had inspired you, and I'm sure your son was part of that. So, and your wife said he would be working for no one. Was that one of the inspirations, or there were more?
Believe it or not, I was inspired as a child.
Wow.
It grew up in me. And I tell people this story.
Wow.
During the time when we were kids growing up, we had chickens and ducks and running around the yard until the city got another audience to it.
Yeah.
And when the chickens died, I would go out and dig a hole, and my friends would come around and we'd have the funeral, Well, then plus I had two relatives. I had an uncle that was a funeral director, not in this state, but in the state of Georgia. Then I had a first cousin also. But I watched the person who I worked for a long time, and that was the Coleman Funeral Home, and how dignified this man was, and how he treated people, with the smile, and how he drew people to him. And everybody knew him. Everybody wanted to touch him. And he inspired me.
Like you, everybody wanted to.
Yeah, right.
I told my other daughter I was having a conversation with you. She had school. She said, "Oh, I wish I could go." Yeah, met you once, but I've not yet forgotten you.
Yes, well, but that's what and a whole lot of my traits I've learned from him, and plus, I was raised in a very, very religious family. See, so all of that has something to
it's all that
to draw me to, and plus I like to help people.
Yeah, you do. That I know. I heard a lot of things you do in the community that you're not even mentioning today, but I do know how you support a lot of things going on. The breakfast meeting clubs you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. You know what you do.
Well, we grew up
for the
together.
community. Yeah.
It's Conrad. It was 12 of us started out in the breakfast. My brother-in-law and then some more, but we just sat and talked about old times and
conversation is amazing.
Yes, and how some of the old men was cheating on the wife, and how strong the women were.
Yeah.
To know their husband was cheating, and still they would cook for them.
Oh,
still they would take care of
It's
them.
about family.
And yes,
and we take care of the other stuff later.
Yes, right,
Wow.
right, and that's how we talk about everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, ourselves. But growing up in there, this fella, one of them, he was a colonel in the service. He went all over the world, and he said he would not take nowhere else to live but this city.
It's
and
a
I could have
lovely
left.
place.
I could have left. I was born here, my family, but most of my immediate family migrated up north.
How many generations here so far?
Now here with four.
Wow,
Four in my generation.
In your generation,
yes,
since
right.
you were born here, that's a lot. I met I think your great granddaughter the other day. She was the one answering the phone, looking for files, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to continue.
Yes.
You know, it's a family thing. It's a family, affair to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what advice would you give to anybody wanting to start their own business? Because there's a lot of young men out there. Some of them are not even clear as to what they want to do yet. And a lot of them perhaps not even thinking about, a business like this. It doesn't, perhaps, who knows where they can take that.
Well, if a person wants to start their own business, first of all, they have to be dedicated. That's the first thing. And they must know how to treat people. I inform my staff is this. Look, I supervise, which now my oldest son, he does. But I supervise, and I let every one of my employees know that I am not your boss. The people who you're serving, that's who are your boss.
Amazing.
They're the one paying the money. And it depends upon the way you treat those people is the way that you can earn your living so I can pay you.
Oh, wow.
And that's the reason why when I was slogan is big enough to know you, smart enough to serve you.
Ooh.
See, so and that's what we live by, other people, making other people feel, because funerals are sad,
yes.
People are grieving,
yes.
And they don't want anyone short talking them.
Yes.
Very particular business, and you have to be careful how you do if you want that business, because I try to run my business like this. I run my business off a comeback business. That's keep people right in their comeback.
They come back to you.
Yes.
Wow, Mr. Straghn, you're wise in and not just words, because me personally, our viewers don't know, as to why. And that is really a sensitive, because we have yet to truly understand what that is. Even when we think we got what it is, then it turns to something else. So at times, people are grieving, and I've seen fights in funerals, believe it or not.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. And I didn't think.
I've seen punching with the arms.
Yeah, I didn't know that would happen at a funeral.
Yes.
But it's life. It's called people emotions. And one thing I know about here, there's a sense of humility to being humble. Which is Christ-like to me. How you treat people. I feel that here, and I attend a couple of funerals that you've done. One of them was one of my girlfriend. Her grandparents, her grandmother passed away. It was just simply lovely. Your son, one of your son or your grandsons were there the entire time with the family. It was simply beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is a time in our program that I have a very little humble gift. This is only our second season, our little show. I don't know if you want me to read it, but I went and I dig up on you. Not only that, I know that you're a producer. We didn't talk about that. You produced something online.
Boy, I tell you.
If you want me to read it, I'll read it for you.
Yeah, do so.
Okay, it says, during my neighborhood organizing mission, I met Mr. Alfred Straghn from Straghn & Sons Funeral Home. He is the funeral owner and director. Him and his sons run the business. That is not simply a business. It is a family affair. I have personally attended one funeral, one of my colleagues' grandparents, and it was compassionate. He has stepped down as CEO, yet oversees the work each day. He is adorable. He is there daily, simply continuing integrity. His way of being and caring and service for the departed, I feel it is the way he wants his loved ones treated, and for him, the day the Lord calls upon him. That is beautiful. It is truly is. Treat others as you want to be treated.
Man.
Yes, lessons in funeral homes. They are all around us, and same as miracles. Are you open and present to them as Mr. Straghn is and given to the community? This is for you, Mr.
Oh,
Straghn.
baby, God bless you.
I simply
God
love you.
bless you.
This is for you.
Boy.
For you to put that. That's my Academy Award for you.
Boy, I tell you.
Wow.
Boy, that's a surprise.
Yeah, this is a surprise. Did you wear that, your tie? I've never seen you in your tie. I sent you a tie. Did you wear it?
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I remember what that guy.
Okay, and I'm going to plan to surprise you on one of those breakfasts because I just want to sit down in line.
Boy, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come there. But it's just 3 of us left now.
It doesn't matter to me.
You know, me and Yale, and they'll be glad to go there.
Yeah, I'll be happy
Because
for that.
we got to one of the clubs
Wow.
on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, just in good old times.
Yeah, we just sit there and talk about
Wow, it's just lovely to me.
some of the people that come in, and most Jews out that way.
I just love Delray Beach. I'm looking, as a matter of fact, I'm looking to a couple of properties here for my studio because I just love it. There's something about it that I love.
Babe, I tell
Yeah.
you meet the right people. This is a good place to
Yeah.
live.
Well, doing the neighborhood organizing, I did that. I met quite, some people. Miss Lula Butler was no longer with the city. She was my boss. Yeah.
Oh, she one of my cookies.
Yeah, we were good. She was
Sweet
good
as she
to me.
could be.
Yeah, she
Sweet
was.
as she could be.
Well, our conversation here off on camera, but we will continue as you know.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone for joining us on our second season and continue to support us. And as I know that life, is meant to live. Death is the only guarantee on this earth. So how you treat people, you want to be treated. Even when you become dead body, you want someone with integrity to treat you with dignity. And then take care. Cheers. God bless everyone.